the bulk of this tune, it's got substitutions, it's got multiple guitar layers, some pedals, some different things going on, but the structure of the song is C sharp minor, or C sharp minor 7, which is the roots on the 8th fret. I'm sorry, the roots on the 9th fret of the E string. You play a minor chord. And then an A major chord. And then an E major chord. And that C sharp minor, as well as the E major, both share the same pentatonic scale. The E major pentatonic or the C sharp minor pentatonic, same spot. So in other words, the C sharp minor pentatonics, when you think of that note, is the root. And the E majors, when you think of that note of the scale, is the root. Both of those chords are in the same key. They're the relative major and minor, so that scale works either way. But the point I'm making with that scale is it's the primary scale to get all those pretty embellishments. And if you've seen, the song played live, then you see lots of improvisation, and it's all comes from that, E major or C sharp minor pentatonic scale, as well as little pieces of those chords. So check it out. The first chord, C sharp minor, the very first thing he does, instead of playing the full bar chord, he plays where my ring finger normally is, and that's the 11th fret of the A string, coming from that chord. And then he skips the D string and plays the G string, which is the 9th fret. You gotta get that middle string muted a bit. You could throw your thumb over to the and I'm just muted everything except another kind of, John Mayer, John Frusciante. Okay, so next we're going to go down a harmony of the E major scale. And we're going to go like this. Ring finger on the 11th fret of the D, index finger on the 9th fret of the G, then middle finger to the 8th fret of the D and index on the 7th fret of the G. So here's everything we have so far. The next thing is going to be two double stops. So we're going to cover the 11th fret on the A and D, and then a whole step down. I think I saw him use his pinky and middle, so it'd be like, but sorry. Either one. I think ring and index is easier, but anyway, so we got. Okay, now we're going to go into a little zone that, basically it's taught a lot in the Cage system. I have lessons on these chords on my Techniques channel. But we're going to go like this. He actually plays this with his fingers a lot too, so. Makes it a little softer, maybe a little more expressive, but most people use a pick. So we're going to go like this. we kind of bar the 4th fret on the D, G, and B. Then we get our middle finger onto the 5th fret of the B. And this is kind of your first shape that you go to. And then we're going to hammer onto the 6th fret of the G as we strum the chord. And we're not playing the high E. We're just not really strumming it. Yeah, and so that little first thing, I don't think we should strum the D string either. So it's really just kind of a comes off. Check it out. And this little shape right here is an E major chord. And it actually comes from the C shape, a C chord, D chord, E chord, and you bar it. It comes from the cage system. Or you can actually look at this little top part here is a piece of the D chord up a whole step to E. So we're kind of playing a little bit of both. Okay, check it out. That, and we got. Then with our ring fingers already in the right on the right string, which is the D string, we're going to slide it up to the 11th. So the second time, instead of the A string on the 11th, he's doing the D string on the 11th, just to mix it up. Both of those notes are in that entire chord. That's the first one. Now we're on the D. That's the same, and this is the same. But from here it's a little different. And it's not an A in the bass anymore. I believe it's an F sharp in the bass. So you get a weird, there's a little kind of mystical quality to the second chord, and it's mostly because of what the bass player is playing. But we're going to do the same shape, but instead of hammering on that G string, we're just already on the 6th fret of the D. Then it comes off. Then this is a C shape with the bar. But you could go just these two, or even just the bass note. Okay, here's everything we have so far. I'll go really slow. Okay, the next little line, oh man, it sounds like possibly 2 guitars overdubbing because there's bends. I'm just going to show you a little bit easier way to do it, and I watched a live performance, and it's how his other guitar player was doing it too, so I don't think we're in that bad a shape here. We're not in too big a trouble with the YouTube police. So we're going to go like this. Index on the 12 of the high E and ring on the 14th of the B. And then we go all the way up to the 16th fret of the high E and the 17th fret of the B. So we've got, and we hit this again, then ring goes down a half step and index goes to the 14 of the high E. So we got, so here it is again. Whole step down, same thing. Index goes a half step down, middle goes to the 12 of the B. So we got back up to this one. So here it is. So that last chord comes from the E major chord, but we're going to have index on the 7 of the high E, ring on the 9 of the B. So we got starts the same way, does that much, and then we can take this little shape, glue it together, and just move it to where the index is on the B of the 12 and the 13 of the G. Now this part I could not make out with my ear. I mean, I learned this whole thing by ear and it's just muddled down there in the mix, but it's one of two choices. Either, which would just be this, then the same thing down a whole step, and then just covering the 9th fret of the G and the B. Or which is a little darker sounding. You keep that note as this travels. Looper on there by accident. Okay, so we're gonna keep it simple and go. So here's what we got. So that section, once again, many guitars layered, but the bulk of it is going to be a B major with your pinky going off and on the G string. Then up a whole step to the minor, that C sharp minor. He likes to thumb it, but you can do to an A major. He thumbs that as well. We got the next time, from what I could make out, it's the same chord with the guitar, but the bass once again does a different note than the root, and it gives a really nice quality. And then right back into